Hello there, and welcome back to the Sleepy Science channel where curiosity whispers, moss grows slowly, and even your thoughts yawn a little. Tonight, we're diving into one of nature's quietest but deadliest soap operas, carnivorous plants. It's millions of years ago, and you, a humble plant, are in trouble. You've rooted yourself in a swamp where the soil has the nutritional value of wet cardboard. Your neighbors, the mosses, the sedges, the suspicious-looking fungi are all surviving just fine. But you're starving. The sun gives you energy, sure, but the ground beneath you gives you absolutely nothing. Your roots might as well be dipped in air. But before we begin, take a second to like the video and subscribe only if you genuinely enjoy drifting into scientific dreamland with me. And drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is over there. It's always fun to see which time zones you can't sleep in. Now, dim the lights, maybe nudge a fan into that perfect sleepy hum, and let's wander into tonight's gentle, leafy danger together. Other plants would just accept their fate, grow small, stay weak, and dream of richer dirt someday. Not you. You're done being polite about this whole plant shouldn't eat animals rule. Slowly, patiently, evolution taps you on the shoulder and whispers, "What if hear me out you became terrifying?" And just like that, your leaves start changing. Not dramatically at first, just a little stickier here, a little cup-shaped there. Harmless stuff until one unlucky insect lands on you and never leaves. Over countless generations, your accidental stickiness becomes a strategy. A trap here, a digestive enzyme there. Suddenly, you're not just a plant, you're a slow-motion predator. You don't run, you don't chase, you don't roar. You just wait. Quietly, beautifully, menacing in the softest possible way. And when an insect wanders a little too close, you turn dinner into nutrients with the composure of a monk and the efficiency of a scientist. Evolution doesn't take shortcuts, though. You can't just build a trap without learning how to digest what falls inside. So your leaves begin secreting chemicals eerily similar to stomach acid, because who needs rules anymore, right? Your victims break down into nitrogen, phosphorus, and all the vitamins your soil never gave you. Other plants sip minerals from dirt. You harvest them from the recently deceased. Elegance meets horror. These transformations happen not once, but in at least 5 different plant families scattered across the planet. That's convergent evolution. Basically nature saying, this idea is so good, I'm doing it again. Bogs, marshes, mountaintops, tropical rainforests, anywhere the soil was basically decorative. Plants reinvented themselves as quiet assassins. They didn't give up photosynthesis, they simply upgraded the menu. Then, of course, we reach the superstar, the Venus flytrap. If carnivorous plants were celebrities, the flytrap would be the one on all the posters, signing autographs with its little green jaws. Found only in the Carolinas, it's a plant that looks you dead in the eye and says, "Touch me and find out." Each trap is like an open mouth lined with teeth, not real teeth, but close enough that insects don't argue about it. Inside are trigger hairs, tiny sensors that act like tripwires. 2 touches within 20 seconds and snap those delicate green jaws close faster than your Wi-Fi drops during a live stream. This isn't just a plant. It's a hunter wrapped in sunlight, a killer disguised as a pretty leaf, a reminder that nature doesn't play by our expectations. And as you relax tonight, just know, somewhere in a quiet bog, a patient green monster is sitting perfectly still, waiting for its next meal and doing it beautifully. When a hapless insect lands on the surface of a Venus flytrap, it's got one thing coming, a hair-raising experience. The plant is equipped with several fine trigger hairs, and here's where things get intriguing. One touch is just a casual hello. It could be a raindrop, debris, or even a ghost insect. But if that little insect dares to activate 2 hairs in about 20 seconds, or touch the same one twice, the trap springs into action. Suddenly, the innocent bug finds itself in a tightly clamped situation. That closure unfolds in a blink less than 1/10 of a second, to be exact. Filming it requires high-speed cameras, and it's no surprise why. The whole mechanism relies on a sophisticated internal ballet of hydraulics, fluid dynamics, and a bit of plant geometry, no muscles needed. Imagine a water balloon suddenly morphing due to pressure shifts. That's pretty much what happens. Astonishingly, our leafy friend seems to think and reacts, all without a brain or nervous system. Talk about a plant with an impressive resume. But wait, just because the trap snaps shut doesn't mean it's a done deal. The jagged teeth interlock, creating a little prison for bugs. Tiny insects can escape like it's a game, but larger ones? Good luck. The flytrap strategy is savvy since smaller snacks don't pack enough nutritional punch for the energy expended digesting them. Only when a more substantial victim fights for dear life does the trap seal tightly and go to work, unleashing digestive enzymes that feast on the insect's body for 5 to 12 days. Talk about giving a bug the runaround. Researchers have been captivated by the Venus flytrap chokehold for ages. Recent studies, packed with high-speed shots and mathematical wizardry, unveiled the magic behind its explosive closure. It's akin to how a contact lens can flip inside out elastic energy stored in a curved leaf shape and gets released in a dramatic snap to a new position. This efficient mechanism means lightning-fast action without the plant needing super speedy muscles. Simply genius. However, this Jurassic-style snap comes at a price. Each trap can only perform this stunt a limited number of times, with some estimates putting it at 3 to 5 closures for feeding before it waves goodbye. The whole process is like a workout. Every snap consumes energy, damages cells, and cranks up the cost of making those crucial digestive enzymes. The trap isn't just indestructible, it wears down with every meal, so it's picky about what it dines on. To avoid unnecessary effort, the Venus flytrap employs a clever algorithm. 2 quick touches mean dinner, while a raindrop is just another day in the garden. This ingenious filtering mechanism ensures that only genuine, wriggling prey triggers the trap. In the merciless world of nutrient scarcity, it's a life-saving strategy that distinguishes victors from vanquished. The stakes couldn't be higher. A missed opportunity could spell disaster. As the seasons change, older traps fade like last year's fashion. But never fear, the Venus flytrap is a master of rejuvenation. Fresh traps sprout from the rosette in a colorful display, replacing the wilting relics on the periphery that have outlived their glory days. It's a continual cycle of life, a dance of decay meeting new beginnings that reflects the unpredictable rhythms of existence itself. Watching a Venus flytrap in its natural habitat is like witnessing the calm before a wild and dramatic lunch. Days pass in nature's theater as the traps lie patiently, embodying a zen-like calm. Suddenly, chaos erupts with the snap of the Venus flytrap, its leaves closing like an impatient audience clapping for an encore. Despite the fierce struggle inside, silence follows, underscoring the quiet drama unfolding. This slow, methodical digestion is nature's whispered secret, only revealed to those curious enough to watch these bizarre, carnivorous plants at work. The energy economics of these flying man-eaters are quite captivating. Picture this. Each trap requires a significant amount of resources to whip up. The trigger hairs are the prima donnas, sensitive and on high alert for unwitting prey. The hydraulic system is like a bouncer at an exclusive club, ready to snap shut on anything that dares to trespass. Let's not forget those enzyme-secreting glands, ever so prepared for the feast. All these antics play out in one of the most nutrient-starved soils imaginable. The Venus flytrap is essentially rolling the dice every time it creates a trap, taking a risk that the nutrients snatched from its hapless victims will outweigh the energy put into its cunning construction. And in the swampy, acidic soils of coastal Carolina, it seems this gamble often pays off. Meanwhile, pitcher plants, with their deceptive beauty, opt for a different strategy, the pitfall trap. Their modified leaves morph into vase-like structures, intricately designed to ensnare the unsuspecting. Picture the scene as insects approach these vibrant traps. Their colors are almost as enticing as a neon all-you-can-eat buffet sign, complete with a slick, waxy opening that guarantees no escape. Some are practically slip and slides, where airborne visitors end up buying a one-way ticket into liquid doom. Others possess sneaky downward-pointing hairs that invite guests in but snicker at their attempts to climb out. The drama is all-consuming, ending typically with a splash and a gurgle for the poor entrapped souls. Inside the pitcher plant's residing liquid lies a miniature ecosystem. Some plants play host to bacteria that help break down their doomed catch, creating a win-win symbiotic relationship. Others might house daring insects that boldly make their homes in this graveyard of a fluid, feasting on the unfortunate remains while being immune to their surroundings. The survival game is real, and the competition for nutrients is fierce, showcasing nature's incredible diversity across various ecosystems. Pitcher plants showcase their talent across globes, from tropical heights in Southeast Asia to the temperate bogs of North America. Each region boasts its unique flair, presenting an independent solution to the ongoing struggle with nutrient scarcity. The Asian pitcher plants of the genus Nepenthes hang elaborately, some as massive as a soccer ball, preying on not just insects but, believe it or not, frogs and tiny mammals. Over in North America, the Sarracenia species grow as upright tubes that tower proudly, beckoning and deceiving with their colorful hoods. Focusing on the architectural genius of the pitcher plant, one can't help but admire the ingenious peristome of the rim of the trap. In many species, it's ribbed for efficiency, channeling excess rainwater away and preventing a disastrous overflow. The surface boasts microscopic wax crystals, creating a slippery walkway that leaves insects frustrated. Even the buggiest of claws can't get a grip. The waxy coating repels water like a magician, ensuring the trap maintains its deadly allure without dilution from rain. Nature is nothing if not an artist, crafting masterworks that are as lethal as they are beautiful. Below the wrist of a pitcher plant lies a delightful menace of downward-pointing hairs that make climbing back up a real nightmare for any unwitting insect. These hairs resemble tiny teeth in a funnel, standing ready to help you downward but impaling anything that attempts to escape. It's the botanical version of a bouncer at a club once you're in. Good luck making it back out alive. A one-way ticket to the bottom, cunning and effective. Some pitcher plants are such giants they can actually snag rodents, as if they'd wandered into a bizarre buffet. The biggest of them all, Nepenthes raja aka King Pitcher Plant, boasts pitchers that can hold over 3 liters of fluid. These massive green beauties thrive on cliffs where the soil refuses to play ball, making dinner reservations impossible. Size isn't just for showing off, it's how they catch big game prey. Think ants and flies are classy? Nepenthes raja scoffs at that and grabs rogue rats, shrews, and even small birds for a meal. When creatures descend the rim for a sip, their engaging curiosity is met with a slippery betrayal of gravity. They tumble headfirst into a pool of decay that takes weeks to digest. Unlike insects that get turned into dust in just a few days, the larger mammals drift into a slow dissolution of nutrients and delicious vegan protein for the waiting plant. The acid-filled concoction becomes a nourishing soup, thanks to bacteria and specialized larvae that happily munch away, speeding up the nutritional transfer for the plant. Encountering one of these colossal pitchers in its natural habitat flips our view of plants upside down. Instead of passive greenery, we find a plant that could theoretically swallow a small pet or at least a human loaf of bread. These monstrous flora exude aromas of decay mixed with sweetness, both enchanting and a tad unsettling. It beckons with an equal blend of beauty and discomfort. Nature has an oddball sense of humor when it comes to survival. The discovery of Nepenthes raja in the mid-1800s made quite the splash in the botanical world, igniting imaginations and inspiring explorers. Tales emerged of gigantic pitchers that could accommodate human children, an exaggeration that still kept the reality extraordinary. This plant challenged our predefined notions of flora. It was not merely passive, but a ruthless predator in disguise. Fast forward to modern times, a new species of giant tropical pitcher plants still show up uninvited to the nature party. The rainforests of Southeast Asia remain a treasure trove of surprises. In 2007, botanists were overjoyed to find Nepenthes at Boracay on a remote mountain in the Philippines. Its pitchers as stunningly large as its royal cousin. This find was a reminder, in the 21st century, nature still has hidden wonders, waiting in corners we've yet to explore. And let's not forget that some pitchers twinkle like jewels, flaunting sticky traps that would make any fly want to reconsider its life choices. With each turn of the leaf, there's a fresh mystery, an adventure waiting to unfold, proving that with nature, you never quite know what to expect next. Sundews are like the sticky flypaper of the botanical world, sporting tentacle-covered leaves that could fool even the most seasoned insect. In the morning sunshine, these magical drops resemble glistening dew, luring unsuspecting bugs into a frothy trap. But beware! Those droplets are not nature's confetti. They're actually a deadly glue that locks unfortunate visitors into an entangled struggle for their lives. As soon as an insect makes contact with the mucilage, its fate is sealed in a sticky embrace. The little creature flails, wildly trying to escape, only to find itself increasingly trapped as more tentacles reach out for a hug. Some sundews have tentacles that can actually move. Yes, plants can move, slowly curling over several minutes, enclosing their meal like a well-practiced magician. It's almost like a macabre game of tag, but this tag leads to dinner. Sundews can be found across the globe, missing only from Antarctica, showcasing their versatility. You can find some species so small they fit snugly on your pinky nail, clinging to wet stones or merrily nestled in moss. Others sport leaves as large as a human hand, sprawling across bogs like gigantic green octopuses, waiting patiently for their next meal to stumble into the sticky situation they've prepared. Let's talk about the superhero-like mucilage of sundews. It's no ordinary goo. It's specifically designed to trap and digest unsuspecting insects efficiently. Built to stick yet fluid enough for the plant to reabsorb after it's finished, this complex substance is a true multitasker. Beyond just catching dinner, it contains digestive enzymes and acids ready to turn prey into a nutritious soup. Talk about efficient eating. The spectacle of a sundew capturing prey is a marvel. The frantic flapping of insect wings against the sticky leaves is almost poetic. Gradually, the once busy bug slows down as its life force ebbs, giving sundew tentacles the chance to close in. Eventually, the leaf curls around the insect, not unlike an embrace of the worst kind, while digestion begins its stealthy process. Days slink by as the leaf returns to normal, revealing only an empty exoskeleton. The remains, lighter than air, get whisked away by the wind or washed off by rain, leaving the sundew free to hunt again. That's right, dinner is always a temporary affair. The motions of these tentacles might be a snail's pace compared to the Venus flytrap's lightning-fast snap, but they still showcase a plant's stunning ability to adapt and react. Different species of sundews have their own unique tricks up their sleeves. Some flaunt tentacles only along their edges, curling the center of the leaf inward to make a cozy banquet for caught prey. Others present a thick forest of sticky traps, creating a formidable fortress. Then there are those with long, slender leaves that roll into tubes. Not just any plant can pull off that kind of culinary flair. If sundews are the sticky traps, then bladderworts take the cake for speed, proving just how wildly diverse the carnivorous plant family can be. Among the plethora of carnivorous plants, the bladderworts reign supreme in the speed department. Picture this. These cheeky aquatic plants boast tiny bladders, each less than a few millimeters wide, that act like carnival rides for unsuspecting prey. With a door that hinges at lightning speed, they pump out water to create negative pressure. When the moment is right, poking those tiny hairs around the door will send it flying open, making a swift catch of tiny water fleas or mosquito larvae. In a flash of just 1 to 5 milliseconds, the bladder captures its dinner. Talk about a fast food experience. The door snaps shut, swallowing the hapless creature, and digestion starts right there in the bladder. Bladderworts don't have roots, so they get by floating in wetlands or relaxing, half submerged in water. Their feathery leaves increase surface area, maximizing photosynthesis while cleverly hiding the multitude of hidden bladders. Each plant is like a little factory, capturing several prey items a day, ensuring they stay well fed in nutrient-poor waters. With over 200 species of bladderworts, these plants have made their home across every continent except Antarctica. Some flaunt their bright yellow flowers sprouting tall above the water, while others are so small you'd need a magnifying glass just to see them. These delicate little organelles may look innocent, but in their microscopic universe, they're ruthless predators, playing a key role in the ecosystem of tiny organisms surrounding them. Take a gander through a microscope and discover a breathtaking world of bladderworts. The translucent bladders reveal their twisting prey inside, making the whole experience an eerie view into a bustling little world. The door mechanism, a sheer marvel, is capable of sealing the trap in an instant. With digestive glands lining the insides, these plants have their method of turning prey into nutrient-rich fluids, a feat as sophisticated as any animal trap out there. The mechanics of capturing prey have been examined, yet bladderworts remain a source of endless fascination. Just the tiniest protozoa can set off the trap, and the hinges can handle the water onslaught without falling apart. No pressure, no trap. But even the minutest leak in the seals would mean the downfall of their hunting strategy. Recent studies reveal they actively transport ions to pump water out of the bladders, requiring an energy investment that, in the long run, pays off in nutrient-rich gains. In the nutrient-starved puddles where other plants flounder, bladderworts flourish amidst the aquatic chaos. Their many bladders ensure a consistent meal supply, while other carnivorous plants like butterworts and sundews adopt slightly different tactics. While butterworts might seem simpler, their sticky mucilage-covered broad leaves guarantee that they, too, snag prey effectively without the bells and whistles of a moving tentacle. In their simplistic elegance, butterworts make a strong case for efficiency in the plant kingdom. No waving limbs like their sundew counterparts, just flat, sticky leaves doing the job splendidly. Together with bladderworts, they form a harmonious ballet of survival in the water world, capturing whatever snacks swim their way and proving that sometimes the smallest plants can have the biggest appetites. What a twist on the whole idea of dinner and a show, right? The butterwort takes on a role that's equal parts sneaky assassin and culinary genius. Its buttery name is just the icing on the cake, as the leaves ooze a gooey mucilage that entangles small insects wandering too close. Picture a bug trying to escape, only to find itself glued to what looks like a leafy trap. The struggle is real, and every frantic wriggle only adds to the sticky situation, hastening their doom in a slippery dance of desperation. Those glossy leaves aren't just pretty to look at, they're a deadly facade layered with thousands of tiny glands. Some of these moist little secretaries churn out the sticky mucilage, while others play chef, whipping up a feast of digestive enzymes. Once the insect is thoroughly mired in the goo, these glands kick into high gear, serving up a soupy banquet that transforms the hunk of protein into delectable nutrients for the butterwort. Talk about fast food, right? You can catch butterworts chilling in temperate and tropical areas, often nestled on damp rocks, cliff faces, or boggy terrains. Their leaves form charming rosettes close to the ground, boasting a pale green or subtly yellow hue that almost glows in the dark. But wait, there's more. On tall, spindly stalks, they flaunt delicate flowers that strike a resemblance to violet blooms, complete with 5 petals and adorable spurs style points for sure. These beauties aren't just eye candy, they attract pollinators while their stealthy leaf traps go to work beneath them. As the seasons shift, these wily plants pull a clever trick. During the warm months, they whip up carnivorous leaves, taking advantage of the insect buffet laid out before them. But when winter rolls around, they switch gears, producing small, thick non-carnivorous leaves that snuggle together to ride out the cold. It's like changing from glamorous party attire to cozy pajamas, ensuring they thrive regardless of the conditions their tricky fate throws at them. Let's not forget the butterwort side gig in cheesemaking. Farmers in traditional settings cleverly utilized the enzyme-rich leaves to curdle milk. Who knew our slimy, insect-chomping friend had a knack for dairy? It's a brilliant reminder that nature can hit the sweet spot between the botanical and the chemical, effortlessly bridging the gap between the necessities of survival and human culinary creativity. But does the butterwort care about our cheese-making skills? Not in the slightest. It's too busy capturing its dinner to notice. And when it comes to capturing prey, the butterwort keeps it simple yet incredibly effective. Forget elaborate traps. This plant's secret weapon is its unique mucilage, which is tacky and a bit elastic. As bugs stumble onto the leaf, their tiny feet glue themselves down with each step. The insects may think they're getting away, but the more they pull free, the more fatigued they become, eventually succumbing to the sticky grip. It's boredom and exhaustion rolled into one captivating encounter. Lastly, a hint of movement adds another layer of sophistication. Some butterworts subtly curl their leaf edges when they snag a meal to ensure the snack doesn't slip away prematurely. This delicate response is much less dramatic than the antics of sundews or Venus flytraps. Instead, it strikes a balance between passive trapping and a touch of active engagement. It's like a coy-shur to keep their unsuspecting feast in place, ensuring no morsel escapes before it's efficiently devoured. And then we have the cobra lily, standing tall like a botanical contender ready to strike. Native to the chilly bogs of Northern California and Southern Oregon, Darlingtonia californica looks as enigmatic as its namesake. The tubular leaves arch over, creating a cobra-like hood talk about dramatic flair. Veins of red and purple dance along the surface, while a forked tongue like appendage dangles beneath. This plant offers a striking balance of beauty and brains, all while staying on the prowl for its next creepy crawly victim. The cobra lily is not your average pitcher plant. It brings a whole new flair to the carnivorous plant scene. With its unique hood cleverly covering the trap's opening, it's like a mischievous magician playfully hiding the exit. Instead of plummeting straight into a mouth, unsuspecting insects are lured to the hood by alluring nectar and dazzling translucent patches called fenestrations. These patches look like tempting exits, but alas, they lead not to freedom but straight to oblivion, leaving insects baffled and entrapped. Once they've committed to that fateful flight, the disoriented insects are unable to escape the downward-pointing hairs lining the tubular body of the cobra lily. It's a real trap, and they're not getting out anytime soon. At the bottom awaits a pool of digestive fluid, but here's the twist. The cobra lily doesn't churn out its own enzymes. Nope, it leaves that to the bacteria, taking the concept of teamwork to a whole new level. This unconventional partnership makes the cobra lily quite the lazy little carnivore in the plant world. Now, let's talk about real estate. The cobra lily chooses to grow in some seriously chilly real estate, with its roots often dangling in ice-cold spring water, even during scorching summer days. This frosty preference leaves it vulnerable to climate change, as it can't handle even the slightest rise in temperatures. Imagine standing in clusters, with dozens of these hooded beauties peeking from moss and gravel, creating an ancient, serene landscape that makes you feel like you've stepped into a mythical realm. Walking among these wonderful wonders, you can't help but appreciate their quirky personalities. Some rise tall and stately, while others twist and turn in unexpected ways. It's like they're dancing to a tune only they can hear. Their hoods seem to swivel and track some invisible cosmic secret. It doesn't take much for legends to swirl around these enchanting plants. Stories of serpents transformed into flora, of guardians standing watch over hidden springs. But these plants hold more than just tales. They carry the weight of an ancient secret, wrapped snugly in their eccentric shapes. Their dependence on bacterial digestion is an evolutionary genius move. By outsourcing digestion to bacteria, the cobra lily saves valuable energy and resources. The bacteria munch away on the insects, breaking them down like pros, while all cobra lily just kicks back and lets the nutrients roll in without lifting a leaf. This smart strategy likely evolved because their frosty habitats slow down enzyme action to a crawl literally. So the cobra lily cleverly partners with its bacterial buddies, who can still keep digestion humming in those chilly waters. Together, they make a formidable team, ensuring that our friend the cobra lily can survive and thrive in crazy cold environments while other plants simply shiver and wilt. Carnivorous plants aren't just unique, they thrive in some of the harshest terrains on Earth, often where traditional plants throw in the towel. They settle in nutrient-poor playgrounds, think acidic heathlands, rocky table mountains, and soggy bogs where the soil has more differences than similarities. When all other plants struggle for nitrogen and phosphorus, the cobra lily takes the competitive edge, turning the uncommon and unkind into an opportunity. It's a marvel of nature, and they teach us that life can bloom vibrant even in the toughest conditions. In the thriving domain of rich soils, carnivorous plants find themselves in a rather precarious position. Their intricate traps demand a hefty energy investment, while other plants race ahead, flaunting larger leaves and rapid growth. It's like a never-ending contest. And guess who's losing? That's right. But flip the script to poor soils, and suddenly, the carnivorous plants become the clever contenders. With their mysterious talent for extracting nitrogen from unsuspecting insects, they happily chow down when other plants are left starving and sulking. These delightful creatures aren't just food enthusiasts, they also speak volumes about ecosystem health. Spotting one of these plants is like finding an all is well sign in nature. They thrive in pristine, undisturbed wetlands, singing the praises of clean water and poor soil conditions. However, introduce fertilizers or pollution, and poof, they vanish into thin air, unable to tolerate the very nutrients their leafy neighbors drool over. Fast-growing plants become the bullies on the block, shoving the carnivores aside, and that just won't do. When we work to protect these quirky plants, we're inadvertently securing the future of entire ecosystems. Think of it as a 2-for-1 deal. Save the hungry carnivorous plants, and you'll also be preserving the delicate dance of life in their boggy homes. And believe it or not, these habitats are stunningly beautiful. Picture waking up early to see mist weaving its way through open boglands, with sundews catching the dawn light like nature's jewels and pitcher plants standing sentinel on the lookout. It's like stepping into a dream. Bogs are fascinating ecosystems, stable and consistent, primarily nourished by rainwater. This unique feeding system results in water that's rather acidic while being low in nutrients and oxygen. Such an environment doesn't rush the decomposition process. Instead, it creates a rich layer of peat that holds a treasure trove of historical plant material. Peek into this natural time capsule, and you might just witness pollen grains whispering stories of ancient climates and ecosystems that were once upon a time right in that spot. Now, for our resilient carnivorous pals, the boisterous stability of bogs is a lifesaver. These extraordinary plants have become remarkably adapted to these specific and static conditions. Change, like pollution or climate change, can spell doom. Disruption in a bog can lead to the rapid decline of these picky eaters, sometimes within mere generations. It's a roller coaster of survival and vulnerability all wrapped into one, making their presence even more suspect as environmental health indicators. But wait, there's more. Some carnivorous plants have learned to think outside the box. While they're on the prowl for prey, certain species have forged intriguing partnerships. The inside of a pitcher plant, for instance, often becomes a cozy home for insects like mosquito larvae. These tiny critters get to snack on the bacteria and leftovers while contributing nutrients with their own waste. Meanwhile, some sneaky spiders have taken to setting up shop, waiting for their unsuspecting lunch to drop in. Talk about a win-win arrangement. In a truly bizarre twist of fate, certain Nepenthes species in Borneo have turned their traps into lovely restroom facilities for tree shrews and bats. Imagine the scene. These adorable animals perch on the rim or hang off the lid, doing their business into the pitcher in exchange for a sip of sweet nectar. It's like a botanical cafe for critters, combining survival with a touch of whimsy. Who knew that carnivorous plants could be so generous with their resources? Pitcher plants have turned the tables on traditional carnivory by ditching the whole consume the living approach and instead welcoming waste from their furry friends tree shrews, to be exact. It's a nitrogen-rich business partnership that thrives on the idea that some plants can catch a break, or a poo, to be precise, and get their nutrients without the hassle of chasing down dinner. This means less carnivore and more savvy negotiator, blurring the lines of what it means to be a creature that feeds on meat. The plant doesn't just snag nutrients, it's found a symbiotic sideline that leaves both parties happier than a cat in a sunbeam. Now, let's talk about the fine dining setup that pitcher plants provide for shrews. Their specially designed lids become a comfy perch for these little critters, delicately shaped like a dinner table made just for them. With nectar served at peak shrew activity times, it's practically a 5-star buffet. It's the perfect example of nature's matchmaking service, evolving over generations where everyone has a role to play. These plant-animal relationships show us that the evolutionary game is not simply kill and eat. Sometimes, it's more about how you spread the love, or in this case, nutrients. The bat community quickly caught wind of this mutualistic arrangement, which is just another twist in the tale. Some Nepenthes species are like nature's own radio towers, using their unique lid designs to bounce back echolocation calls, guiding bats to their leafy toilet stops. As bats flit around, doing their echoing dance, they leave behind nitrogen-rich droppings. It's a perfect trifecta. Insects feed bats, bats leave deposits for plants, and that scrumptious nectar keeps the bats coming back. Who knew waste management could be so rewarding? Amidst all the nutrient negotiations is the stunning blossom of carnivorous plants. Forget flashy predators. These green assassins show off delicate flowers that provoke envy in regular blooms. Venus flytraps flaunt tall stalks topped with dainty white flowers, while pitcher plants boast nodding blooms splashed in pinks and reds. These blooms aren't just for show, they're part of an intricate plan to attract pollinators while cleverly avoiding becoming lunch. A balancing act worthy of a circus. They ensure pollen-delivering insects stay safely away from their sticky traps below. The strategy isn't just about dodging dinner. Carnivorous plants utilize scents and colors to curate two different sets of insects, some to pollinate and others to satisfy their hunger. It's like managing a restaurant with a dual menu, one for the carnivores and one for the sweet little nectar sippers. They may be fierce plant predators, but when it comes to their gorgeous blooms, they make sure to attract the right clientele without risking their reproductive success. These flowers can be stunning, resembling tiny orchids or even violets, captivating onlookers and pollinators alike. Bladderworts shoot up bright spikes of colors, while some pitcher plants showcase massive blossoms, a feast for the eyes, if not the belly. With this duality of function beneath and beauty above, they create the perfect contrast, life and death coexisting in an endless cycle. Its beauty wrapped around a lethal edge, where every bloom tells a tale of survival peppered with elegance. So, what remains of these carnivorous conundrums? They are not merely assassins in the plant world, but are instead intricate dancers in the life cycle symphony. With their graceful blooms, they invite bees, butterflies, and more for a sip of nectar, ensuring the circle of life continues to thrive. Insects flock, sipping sweet offerings and ferrying pollen, merrily buzzing about, unaware they're part of a finely tuned ecological arrangement, a delightful balance between consumption and renewal. Carnivorous plants are like enigmatic chefs of the botanical world, serving up death while feasting on sundry insects. These clever flora bloom according to a schedule that ensures pollinators buzz around with zero chance of falling victim to the traps below. It's a delicate dance of timing. Pollinators arrive just as the traps are still gridlocked in their do not disturb mode. This orchestrated effort guarantees that romance can bloom without a side of doom. Their pollination strategies are nothing short of a marvel. Imagine a pitcher plant rolling out a red carpet exclusively for hefty bees. While some carnivorous plants are like social butterflies, welcoming any insect that strolls by, others choose to deepen their relationship with specific pollinators. Each flower's unique architecture ensures that only the right insects can do the pollinator in tango, ensuring that romance doesn't end up on the lunch menu. It's evolution's match made in heaven, thriving through millions of years of constant refinement. However, we can't let this delicious dance overshadow the troubles these plants face in today's world. With humans raising lands to build malls and farms, carnivorous plants are pushed to the brink. Wetlands and bogs face serious threats like aggressive draining, while pollution makes the poor, nutrient-starved soils they thrive in increasingly uninhabitable. To top it all off, countless collectors swoop in, drawn by the allure of these unique plants, causing extinction events in local populations as they strip them from their native habitats. Take the iconic Venus flytrap, for instance. You'd think a plant boasting such a signature style would be thriving, right? Alas, this charming carnivore is teetering on the edge of endangerment. With its native range in the Carolinas shrinking to a pocket-sized enclave, development pressures only exacerbate the situation. Meanwhile, certain species of pitchers hide their precious blooms like closely guarded secrets to evade poachers. Talk about a plant keeping things under wraps. Conservation efforts are rising to the occasion, though. Botanical gardens and nurseries are like green superhero teams, proliferating these carnivorous wonders to save them from the chaos outside. With a focus on preserving genetic diversity and meeting growing demand, they serve up homegrown carnivorous specimens that lessen the harvest pressure on wild relatives. And let's not forget the protected areas and restoration projects sprouting up, working tirelessly to breathe life back into degraded wetlands and bogs. Yet unfortunately, the challenges facing these spectacular plants don't stop there. As climate change sends the world's weather patterns into a dizzying spin, carnivorous plants find themselves wrestling with shifting rainfall and rising sea levels that threaten their homes. Habitat fragmentation thanks to roads, developments, and farms leaves fragmented and isolated populations that battle each day. With reduced genetic diversity, these small groups face the grim reality of inbreeding and dwindling resilience against random disasters like wildfires or invasive pests. Despite efforts to bolster these beleaguered plants, illegal collection remains a nagging thorn in the side of conservationists. Even with legal fortifications in place, poaching persists, motivated by the high prices that rare plant species command in shady markets. The underbelly of the collector's realm reaps havoc, particularly for the beloved Venus flytrap. With thousands snatched from the wild, law enforcement finds it tough to patrol nature's hidden treasures as the lure of quick cash drives desperate collectors into pristine bogs. The core challenges persist, and the fight to protect these captivating carnivorous plants rolls on. Imagine a world where every plant is a tiny predator welcome to the quirky realm of carnivorous plants. With the right conditions, you can cultivate these exotic green machines right in your home. Contrary to what you might think, they thrive in nutrient-poor environments, preferring a mix of sphagnum moss and sand, as opposed to regular potting soil that could spell doom for them. They want their meals sourced from the wild, not a buffet of fertilizers or rich nutrients. Meeting the hydration needs of these predators is a bit like managing a delicate beverage. Say goodbye to tap water, which is their kryptonite. Instead, shower them with distilled or rainwater. Venus flytraps, the celebrities of the carnivorous plant kingdom, don't demand too much attention, they just crave full sun and a moist environment. With a cozy winter dormancy, they can flourish outdoors in many temperate climates, giving them their moment to shine every spring. Now, if you're looking for an even easier option, sundews are your perfect match. These charming little plants are content on a sunny windowsill with a dish of distilled water for hydration. They're like that friend who requires minimal effort yet delivers maximum fun. And let's not forget about the North American Sarracenia, known for its tall pitcher structures that add a breathtaking vertical flair to gardens. These plants truly transform your space into a quirky jungle. Growing carnivorous plants is a lesson in patience, so slow down and enjoy the process. These little guys don't rush the growth. The Venus flytrap may only pop out a few new leaves each month, while pitcher plants alternate between growth spurts and restful periods. The thrill, however, lies in the waiting. The joy of seeing them snap shut on a fly or curling their tentacles around a wayward gnat is worth the anticipation, a true spectacle of nature right on your windowsill. But beware of common newbie blunders. It might be tempting to shower your carnivorous friends with generous doses of fertilizer, but this would be as fatal as giving candy to a toddler at bedtime. Their roots are designed for meager nutrition, and rich soil will only bring them distress. Instead of flourishing, they'll struggle and face an untimely end. Light is another essential, so if you notice your plants getting droopy, it likely means they're not basking in enough sunlight. Most carnivorous plants crave bright light, almost like they're sunbathing enthusiasts. North-facing windows generally don't offer enough brightness, but fear not, supplemental artificial lighting can work wonders, especially during the short, dreary winter days. With the right light and water, your carnivorous friends will showcase their stunning colors and grow robust traps, proving that they truly are the life of the botanical party. The world of carnivorous plants is also a fascinating one, categorizing their traps into 5 basic types. From pitfall traps to snapping traps, each has evolved to capture prey in a unique way. Think of them as the various methods of hunting in the plant kingdom. This diversity lends itself to an exciting exploration of function versus form, and by understanding these categories, you'll soon find it easier to navigate the lush landscape of carnivorous plant species. So, whether it's the quirky Venus flytrap, the mesmerizing sundew, or the whimsical pitcher plants, there's just something delightful about fostering these green hunters in your home. They bring a taste of the wild and remind us of nature's astonishing ingenuity. Get in touch with your inner wild side, embrace the fun, the patience, and the unique thrills of growing your very own carnivorous plant family. In the wild world of carnivorous plants, escape is often a lost cause. Prey, whether it be an unsuspecting insect or a wandering bug, is drawn into a variety of ingenious traps. Imagine sliding down slippery walls, getting tangled in the sticky embrace of sundews and butterwort's mucilage, or facing the dreaded suction of bladderworts. Each trap is designed with horrors in mind, almost like nature's version of a roller coaster ride gone wrong, where the only ticket taken is the one to nutrient heaven or, possibly, an untimely demise. Now let's talk about the Venus flytrap, the rock star of this botanical horror show. Equipped with rapid movements, its snapping leaves close around unsuspecting prey faster than you can say blooming veggies. This plant has mastered the art of the ambush, rendering insects utterly helpless. Nearby, the slippery lobster pot traps use inward-pointing hairs that guide their victims deeper into the abyss. Reminds you of that one buffet where there's no way getting out after seeing the dessert table, right? Evolution gets wild and wacky here, blending different methods for snagging dinner. Some pitcher plants have taken it upon themselves to mix pitfall traps with lobster pot features, creating an ultimate factory of doom. Meanwhile, certain sundews have leaves that curl, adding a snap trap element to their sticky surface. It's all about showing off gourmet hunting skills in their specialized habitats, nature's own fusion cuisine, if you will. But don't let their charm fool you. These traps come with a hefty energy price tag. They're only actually worth the investment in those nutrient-poor environments, because surprise, in rich soils, carnivorous plants don't have to show off their tricks. They simply can't compete and end up just chilling, utterly unbothered by their meat-eating instincts. In their preferred realms, however, those traps are a lifesaver, offering a lifeline to nutrients where the soil is as barren as a survival reality show. With each trap design comes the hurdle of balancing nuanced engineering challenges. 4 pitfall traps. It's a game of depth deep enough to guard against escape while still allowing for nutrient absorption at the bottom. The plants juggle the slippery walls, needing to be sturdy enough to hold water yet smooth enough to keep dinner from climbing back up. Snap traps must measure their reflexes just right, avoiding energy wastage on false alarms while still making sure their food is caught. Talk about pressure, right? Not all traps are created equal with regards to their rarity. The elaborate snap traps, though completely amazing, are found in only a small handful of closely related plant species. It's a complex evolutionary cocktail of changes that must align perfectly, which is why few plants have mastered this technique. Meanwhile, our adaptable friends with pitfall and fly paper traps resemble the Swiss Army knife of the plant world, developing independently in various plant lineages. They are clearly the more accessible toolkits for nature's designers. When it comes to digesting that prey, the DNA behind the carnivorous plant enzymes is more similar to animal enzymes than you might think. Think of proteases breaking down proteins just like a wild feast, while phosphatases release phosphorus like chefs sprinkling some culinary magic into the mix. Some carnivorous plants even have relatives in their non-meat-eating ancestors, with their genes repurposed through clever tweaks of evolution. While some plants may sit back and let microbes do the heavy lifting, many have ramped up their enzyme production for an unapologetic dinner party of digestion. Some carnivorous plants, like the cobra lily, are the ultimate microbial freeloaders, relying entirely on the bacteria hanging out in their pitcher bodies to digest their meals. Talk about outsourcing. Rather than burn energy on digestion themselves, they let their microscopic pals handle the dirty work. Prey gets broken down, nutrients are sucked up, and voila! Carnivory is all about these digestive tactics that separate the skilled insect traps from your average green-thumbed herbivores. Most plants can snag insects thanks to sticky stems and bizarre floral formations, or even just some funky hairy appendages that double as insect traps. However, if they can't break down those critters for nutrients, it's all for show. It's like a buffet with no food. True carnivorous plants take it a step further, extracting the nitrogen, phosphorus, and other juicy bits hiding in the insect bodies, seamlessly integrating them into their own botanical tissues. Now that's a plant party. Recent genetic investigations have unearthed some wild secrets about how carnivorous plants got their enzyme edge. It turns out they've adapted defensive genes from their non-carnivorous ancestors and gave them a little twist. Proteases that once defended these plants from ravenous herbivores advancing like little green tanks morphed into enzymes that help digest those very same feast-seeking bugs. It's like repurposing an old suit to fit a whole new party. Even cooler is the way carnivorous plants know when to throw out the welcome mat for enzymes. Rather than constantly churning out digestive juices like an overzealous chef, they wait for the dinner bell. When an insect flails or leaves behind its cuticle remnants, these plants get the chemical cues to kick into enzyme production mode. Now, that's some savvy budgeting. Why waste resources when you can turn digestion into a special event? Talk about resilience. These remarkable plants can go for years without snagging a meal, leaning heavily on photosynthesis and stored nutrient reserves instead. Research shows that they might grow slower and pump out fewer traps when they're not munching on insects, but they won't just keel over and die. This is especially crucial in the wild, where insects don't always show up to the dinner party, and plants need to ride out the lean seasons. The relationship between carnivory and photosynthesis is a flexible dance. In the bountiful times, snagging insects becomes a growth supercharger, speeding up production and reproduction. In the tough times, our plant pals pivot and focus on good old photosynthesis. This adaptability allows them to flourish even when the insect buffet gets sparse, proving that flexibility is key to survival as the insect population ebbs and flows. For those with a taste for houseplants, carnivorous plants aren't as finicky as you might think. While a Venus flytrap might look a little droopy if it goes meal-less for a while, it won't just kick the bucket. They require specific conditions, yes, but amidst those rules, they're remarkably pliable. So, if your indoor plant seemingly goes on an insect fast, don't fret. They'll still wave their leafy arms at the sun, soaking up those rays. Nitrogen acquisition in these incredible plants varies widely depending on how they roll in their environment. Some carnivorous species scoring up to 80% of their nitrogen needs from insects are like nitrogen-rich buffet junkies, while others are more reserved, relying on the bug banquet for just a 20–40% boost. Ultimately, this variance shows that adaptability is the name of the game when it comes to thriving in the wild. Who knew plants could be such savvy diners? The dependence of carnivorous plants on factors like soil nitrogen availability, pesky insects, and the finesse of their traps means these green warriors don't just sit back and wait for dinner. Different populations within the same species might munch on bugs to varying degrees, adapting to their environments in quirky ways. This variability isn't just intriguing, it's crucial for conservation efforts. When insect populations dip due to stuff like pesticides, these plants might hang on for a bit, but their reproduction cycle could take a hit. Hence, preserving their habitats means ensuring the insect community thrives too. Speaking of munching plants, can we take a moment to appreciate how ancient cultures had their minds blown by these botanical wonders? The Venus flytrap made its grand entrance into European scientific circles back in the 1760s, and folks were beside themselves. A plant that moves and devours animals? Preposterous! They surely exclaimed, grappling with the implications for the natural order. Yet, indigenous communities in the regions where these plants thrived had long been schmoozing with them, weaving them into tales and folk medicine long before the scientists arrived on the scene. Now, let's not forget about the charming pitcher plants. These clever little guys pop up in cultural traditions across North America. Some tribes even utilize the roots for medicinal purposes, targeting everything from pesky digestive issues to smallpox. Who knew? Whether those treatments actually worked is a bit of a mystery, but one thing is clear: these folks recognized the plant's unique powers, seeing them not just as flora, but as potential healers. Meanwhile, over in Southeast Asia, local communities were wise to the giant pitcher plants, often using their handy pitchers as rice cookers or water carriers. Talk about multitasking. Enter the early botanists, who found themselves in a pickle trying to categorize these magnificent beings. They were supposed to be passive, right? Just sitting in the dirt, sopping up sunlight. But wait. Here were plants that actively hunted and dined on insects. This bemused the scholars of the day. Were carnivorous plants a wild blend of flora and fauna? A half-plant, half-animal concoction? Some writers mused about them being on the fence between kingdoms talk about a botanical identity crisis. It took the brilliant mind of Charles Darwin to put carnivorous plants on the scientific map. His 1875 opus, Insectivorous Plants, showcased some seriously riveting experiments with sundews. He was on a mission, feeding them everything from meat to gelatin, documenting their elegant, miniature meals with utmost care. It was like a culinary reality show for plants. By proving they digested their prey and soaked up nutrients, Darwin confirmed these quirky flora were indeed plants, but with a rather impressive survival trick in their arsenal. Darwin's experiments were not just thorough, they were downright imaginative. He cycled through every possible food source to see what made the sundews tick and what stimuli sparked their remarkable responses. He scrutinized tentacles under a microscope, tracking their motions over days. The best part? Darwin discovered these little chompers could even tell the difference between nutritious and non-nutritious snacks, going after the nitrogen-y goodies like they were the candy of the plant world. And let's not forget how these curious plants inspired tales of horror and fiction. As Victorian society tilted its hat to science, the idea of plants chomping on animals turned from botany to an imagination-fueled frenzy. The Venus flytrap and its pitcher pals morphed into monstrous, man-eating myths, set in jungle backdrops or far-off planets. They tapped into humanity's fears of the unknown, flipping the script from predator and prey and giving rise to a fascinating slew of stories that tantalized the imagination. In the late 1800s, newspaper headlines spun an outrageous tale about the infamous man-eating tree of Madagascar. This sensational story portrayed a tree with tentacle-like branches that supposedly squeezed its victims to death, gulping down their blood like a horror movie villain. Though the whole account was a total fabrication, it sparked massive public intrigue, turning the bizarre concept of carnivorous plants into an object of fascination. Little did they know, this outlandish fiction would go on to shape a cultural trope. The allure of oversized carnivorous plants as epic villains permeated literature, film, and comics for generations. Iconic works by H.G. Wells found inspiration in these fake botanical monsters, while pulp magazines cranked up the terror factor in the early 20th century. The notion that nature could turn against humanity created an exciting dichotomy in storytelling, forcing us to confront the idea that even the serene world of plants harbors a fierce, hidden savagery. Who knew Mother Nature could throw such a wild twist? Fast forward to today, and carnivorous plants are still stomping through the entertainment landscape, showing up in everything from the cult classic Little Shop of Horrors to video games where giant flytraps become formidable foes. In reality, these fascinating plants are mostly benign, with the largest ones only capable of snagging small mammals, not humans. Yet, their role as cultural monsters leaves a lasting psychological impression, reminding us that nature is full of surprises and can sometimes feel downright strange. Carnivorous plants engage with our primal fears about the untamed natural world. For centuries, humans labored to dominate their surroundings, believing agriculture had tamed nature's wildness. But here come these pitchfork-wielding plants to dash those illusions. Plants that bite back disrupt the long-held narrative of humanity as nature's ultimate conqueror. Life's not just about being the top predator. These greenery gladiators show us that nature, too, can have its day in the sun, maybe even in the carnivorous spotlight. As if that weren't exhilarating enough, the fossil record reveals that carnivorous plants have been around for millions of years, a botanical endurance test. While their soft tissues and modified leaves don't fossilize well, the remnants like pollen grains found in amber hint at a long history of predation on unsuspecting insects. Ancient landscapes once teemed with carnivorous plants, waiting patiently for their meals, having thrived through countless environmental changes including climate shifts and the ever-evolving world of flora. Scientists suggest this peculiar predation strategy blossomed out of necessity during periods of nutrient scarcity. By examining genetic markers and comparing them to their non-carnivorous relatives, researchers can trace the threads of evolution. It turns out that carnivory evolved independently among various plant families tens of millions of years ago, highlighting its adaptability amidst shifting ecosystems throughout geological time. Talk about natural survival of the fittest. The endurance of these unique plants showcases how carnivory isn't just a quirky trend in botany, but a successful long-term strategy. It's a delightful reminder that many plant lineages have persisted through the ages, thriving in nutrient-poor habitats where others failed. These green predators didn't just survive, they carved out their own ecological niches. The tenacity of carnivorous plants serves as a reminder that nature is as complex and intricate as the stories we love to tell. The Venus flytrap, that quirky green creature on your windowsill, is a true survivor of the ages, boasting a strategy honed over millions of years. Imagine it as a living time capsule, connecting us to an era when carnivorous plants ruled the earth. Fossil findings hint at their rich ancestry, showing that seeds resembling today's Aldranda have been lurking in European pastures for tens of millions of years. These plants, now a rare breed, were once a diversity incarnate. It's a bit odd, though. Carnivorous plants don't leave behind fossils willy-nilly. They thrive in acidic, waterlogged environments in places that aren't exactly fossil-friendly. So, the evidence we have is like a teaser trailer for a blockbuster hit that never got the green light. This scenario creates an amusing paradox. The very conditions making these plants successful in life are the ones that bury their history. Talk about a challenge for paleobotanists. Fast forward to today, plant enthusiasts and scientists are still scratching their heads over how exactly these snap traps operate. After over a century of poking and prodding, new revelations are blooming. The trap's snap closure, previously thought to be straightforward, has revealed its cell-level cellular dance thanks to high-speed imaging. Turns out, it's a hydraulic spectacle fueled by cell curvature changes. Definitely not a one-hit wonder mechanism like we originally thought. But wait, the excitement doesn't stop there. The trigger hairs of a Venus flytrap act like plant nerves, responding to the slightest touch. When a hapless bug triggers the hair, it sends an electrical signal sort of like a plant version of a ding, ding, through the trap. If a second signal arrives within 20 seconds, it's game over for the unsuspecting insect. This nifty electrical memory leaves scientists marveling at how life forms with no brains can still process information. Talk about smarts without a central office. Sundews, on the other hand, play a similar game but with a twist. Initially believed to operate purely through hydraulic forces, researchers have uncovered that these charming little plants outfit their tentacles with a unique growth strategy. Instead of just bending, they grow differently on one side, directing them toward their next meal. After digestion, they switch gears, growing on the opposite side to straighten up. Metabolically costly? Sure, but it ensures a feast is well optimized. Each revelation poses tantalizing questions. How do these plants detect prey? Is there a secret evolutionary backstory that leads to such advanced tactics? With new tools in the lab, every Darwinian adaptation is like an unfolding mystery novel, teasing explorers about what lies in the pages yet to be turned. With advancements in research, the curtain is lifting on these elegant systems, yet the fundamental wonder remains an open question. Speaking of mysteries, the latest studies have shed light on the signaling mechanisms at play in Venus flytraps. The trigger hairs host specialized ion channels, opening just right to unleash a rush of charged ions and send a potential signal racing through the plant. How do they count these signals before snapping shut? Well, it may come down to clever cellular choreography involving calcium ion concentrations and gene activation. The implications of such research could spill over into robotics, inspiring creations that can think and respond mechanically without electronic helpers. Now that's a breakthrough worth buzzing about. Carnivorous plants are like nature's quirky magicians, transforming ordinary leaves into fascinating traps for unsuspecting insects. They give a vivid glimpse into evolution and the cunning ways life adapts to survive. Surprisingly, these green hunters showcase convergent evolution, different species evolving independently in places like Asia and North America, yet all developing similar trap designs. It's as if they had a cheat sheet that said, "Create a fabulous digestive trap, and you're golden." What's really interesting is the trade-off that comes with being a carnivore in the plant kingdom. These unique plants pour all their resources into developing traps, often sacrificing other traits in the process. Forget sprawling root systems or rapid growth. These plants prefer a slow-paced life, thriving in nutrient-poor environments where capturing insects pays off big time. Each blooming trap is an investment, reflecting a strategy that's about quality over quantity in specific contexts, making evolution one smart cookie. Carnivorous plants show that evolution isn't just a result of random mutations, it's a crafty game of repurposing. For these creative cunning catchers, ordinary plant features morphed into elaborate traps. You've got leaves curling into pitchers, jaws snapping shut, and once innocuous glands now doling out digestive enzymes. Each adaptation is functional. When it comes to survival, every tiny tweak counts. Evolution plays around, taking what it already has and crafting genius solutions, one small step at a time. For budding biologists, these plants are the ultimate educational experience. Watching a Venus flytrap snap shut is mesmerizing. It's like a real-life demonstration of natural selection in action. You're witnessing millions of years of evolution right there, capturing insects with a snap that would make any magician green with envy. Every instance becomes a thrilling reminder of life's endless creativity and that sometimes, the most unexpected life strategies can lead to success. Studying carnivorous plants reveals a captivating aspect of evolution. Complexity can emerge gradually. A somewhat sticky leaf snagging a few nutrients can, over time, evolve into a sophisticated trapping mechanism. It all starts with small advantages, a tiny bit of digestive enzyme here, a curved leaf there, each change adding to the plant's ability to thrive. None of these attributes are showstoppers on their own, but the accumulation of advantages leads to creating a carnivorous superstar. In the delightful world of cultivation, hybridization opens a treasure trove of new varieties. Enthusiasts, especially pitcher plant lovers, have spun the magic of genetics into creating hybrids that flaunt outrageous colors and patterns. Think of vivid red veining splashing against white or psychedelic gradients from green to purple. These beauties are crafted in gardens, where different species can mingle. While nature keeps them apart, breeders play matchmaker, and the results are nothing short of jaw-dropping. Hybridization isn't just eye candy, it also helps conservation efforts. Some carnivorous plants face the threat of extinction due to low genetic diversity. By artfully crossing species, breeders can introduce much-needed genetic variation into these small populations. This process can help mitigate the risks of inbreeding depression and ensure that these extraordinary plants continue to thrive. By blending strengths from various lineages, we keep the wonderful quirks of carnivorous plants alive for generations to come. In the wonderful world of carnivorous plants, careful breeding programs play a crucial role. These initiatives mix genetics in an exciting dance of selective hybridization, often with closely related species. This genetic cocktail not only bolsters struggling plant populations but also introduces seedlings primed for restoration projects, breathing life back into habitats that carnivorous plants have vacated. Plant enthusiasts are thrilled by the aesthetic splendor these hybrids bring alongside the thrill of nurturing them through their unique quirks. Speaking of quirks, some hybrids turn out to be overachievers, thriving better than their parent species. Imagine a plant that outgrows its predecessors, boasting bigger traps and a hearty attitude towards survival. Others are like the chill companions of the horticultural world, tolerating temperature swings and light variations with ease, the ideal houseplant for anyone who has an affinity for neglect. We've all been there, right? The carnivorous plant community has morphed into a global laboratory of discovery, where growers delight in exchanging seeds and sharing cultivation secrets. Diving into the juicy side of plant genetics, hybridization can turn into a complex puzzle. Many carnivorous plants come with chromosomes that vary wildly by species, leading to some hybridization hurdles. Cross two species with dramatically different chromosome counts, and you might end up with a sterile hybrid, practically waving a white flag on reproduction. But fear not. These limp hybrids can still hang around. They just need a little help through division or cuttings, keeping the carnivorous party alive even if they can't produce their own offspring. Success is a mixed bag in this hybridization game. Close relatives throw a hybridization party with gusto, often producing hearty offspring that can stand strong. But venture too far down the family tree, and you might land yourself with plants that are awkwardly weak or even fail to sprout at all. Breeders become seasoned experts over time, playing the genetic lottery until they stumble upon tantalizing combinations that yield an entire cavalcade of cultivated forms. Prepare to be dazzled by diversity that wildly outdoes what's roaming in nature. For those imagining giant chomping plants, here's a fun fact. Some carnivorous plants are the size of a pea. While we typically picture the oversized tropical wonders or the notorious Venus flytraps, many tiny varieties exist and thrive under the radar. You may even need a magnifying glass to fully grasp the wonders of certain sundews, whose leaves can be no larger than your fingernail. Bladderworts, those sneaky little devils, have trapping mechanisms so microscopic they could fit in a needle's eye. These miniaturized carnivores make their homes in very niche environments. Think crevices in rocks, pools of moss, or even thin films of water. Their pint-sized dimensions are a clever adaptation, allowing them to feast on insects their size like mites and nematodes. A crack in a cliff constantly seeped with moisture might be a haven for tiny sundews, each operating on a minuscule scale that titillates the imagination. They're like the secret agents of the plant kingdom, living large in tiny settings. Cultivating these miniature marvels isn't for the faint-hearted. They require constant pampering since they dry out faster than you can say bug buffet. But with just the right humidity, they transform into enchanting terrarium stars. Picture a glass container, a luscious moss bed, and tiny carnivorous plants hunting invisible prey. It's like a magical bog world right on your countertop, reminding us that size doesn't diminish these plants' fierce carnivorous spirits one bit. The adaptability of these small wonders reveals that carnivorous strategies come in all sizes. From capturing hefty insects to catching mere microorganisms, the principles remain the same: crafting traps, digesting meals, and extracting nutrients like pros. Whether drawing in elephants of the insect world or whisper-thin rotifers, these plants shine in showcasing that biological prowess isn't tied to size, but rather to the cleverness of their design. Truly, the world of carnivorous plants is a treasure trove of astonishing adaptations and delightful surprises. Miniature sundews are a testament to nature's engineering wizardry, showcasing remarkably small structures like doors, trigger hairs, and digestive glands. Unlike their larger cousins, these pint-sized plants face unique challenges due to their minuscule size. With limited water storage, they struggle against the threat of desiccation. To thrive, many of them snuggle into constantly moist microhabitats, ensuring they always have a fresh drink. Their tentacles may be shorter and their mucilage droplets smaller, but their infamous trapping mechanism works just as effectively. For a tiny sundew, a hapless gnat becomes an ample feast, turning the mini predator into a powerhouse. Carnivorous plants aren't just eating machines, they play a crucial role in the ecosystems around them. With their insect-catching prowess, they actively influence nutrient flows in their habitats. In the nutrient-sparse bogs, nitrogen is a precious resource. When these plants snag an insect, they're not just enjoying a meal, they're enriching their ecosystem. As these plants eventually die and decay, they return the stored nutrients like nitrogen back into the environment, providing a small but mighty boost to other organisms in this low-nutrient world. The captivating pitcher plant adds another layer to this ecosystem stew. Its water-filled chambers host a mini-universe of life. From mosquito larvae to itty-bitty spiders, these plants create unique communities that thrive nowhere else. Researchers have sprung into action, examining these bizarre habitats and discovering brand new species along with complex relationships among the residents. Who knew pitcher plants offered real estate for such a variety of critters? It's like nature's very own reality show, centered around the heartiest of plants, and they absolutely steal the spotlight. Speaking of stealing spots in the limelight, the mesmerizing flowers of carnivorous plants also draw attention. Elevated above the traps, these blooms serve as nectar sources for a variety of pollinators like bees and beetles during the warmer months. In the unforgiving environment of a bog, where florals can be scant, this bounty turns carnivorous plants into key players in local ecosystems. They support biodiversity, acting as both predators and valuable resources, proving that even the fiercest of plants can be generous. Yet, when the populations of these incredible plants dwindle, the impacts echo through the ecosystem like a stone dropped in the water. Insect communities scramble without the predation pressure, and pollinators find their food sources dwindling away. The intricate communities nestled within pitcher plants start to fade, and with them goes the slow replenishment of nutrients. Protecting these carnivorous wonders means preserving the whole tapestry of life that depends on their survival. But don't underestimate the impact of these plants. Just yet research has quantified their role in nutrient cycling. Some studies reveal that carnivorous plants can gobble up a notable share of the insect biomass in bogs. What's more, the nutrients they receive from their feasts, like nitrogen and phosphorus, are eventually handed back to the ecosystem via leaf decomposition. In such nutrient-poor environments, this can be one of the very few nutrient influxes. Without these hungry plants, bog systems could become even more barren, limiting biological diversity and impacting countless other species. Adding even more flair to this dynamic, carnivorous plants wow us with their dazzling hues. These eye-catching colors serve pivotal roles beyond merely being pretty faces. The stunning reds, greens, and purples, thanks to pigments like anthocyanins, not only shield the plants from harsh sunlight but can also lure in certain insects. Some pitcher plants even flaunt translucent windows to confuse their trapped prey, creating an amusing twist in their hunting strategies. These vibrant color schemes are a masterclass in functionality, ensuring these botanical wonders flourish and continue to entertain us with their antics. Sunlight streaming through the windows creates a picturesque view, resembling gateways to nature's whimsical hub. However, for the little insects buzzing about, it's a different story altogether. They zoom enthusiastically towards this flickering light, only to thud into solid leaf tissue, growing increasingly frustrated in their escape attempts. It's like a cosmic joke where the punchline is a well-placed window design, perfected through years of evolution to keep insects spinning in delightful disorientation. These windows, or rather, the traps of carnivorous plants, are nature's exquisite art pieces, dressed in vibrant hues tailored to lure unsuspecting bugs. Imagine a pitcher's plant sporting a flashy green body with a fiery red rim, inviting critters like some delicious, forbidden dessert. Meanwhile, they're secretly plotting the demise of every insect, catering to their colorful charisma. It's like a Michelin star restaurant for bugs, except no one leaves alive, and the ambience is a tad more sinister. The color game in the world of plant carnivores is fascinating. Some plants even change hues with seasons or sheer sun intensity. Take the notorious Venus flytrap. Those sun-kissed varieties flaunt deep reds, while their shade-loving counterparts remain a moody green. This chameleon-like quality doesn't just serve style points, it aids photosynthesis and enhances insect attraction. So you see, these plants are not merely flaunting their aesthetic flair, but positioning themselves in the survival stakes of nature's club. Let's dive into the nitty-gritty of why these plants take on such vibrant colors. Carnivorous beauties produce anthocyanins, which are the eye-catching red and purple pigments that require an impressive energy allocation. They've got to juggle their benefits, like UV protection and luring in dinner guests, against the costs of maintaining these pigments. So, in bright sunlight where UV rays threaten, they go full throttle with bright pigmentation. Pretty clever for plants, right? Now, things get even more intriguing. Some carnivorous plants burst forth with their brightest hues during nutrient stress. Yes, you read that right. When nitrogen plays hard to get, these plants may amplify their colors to increase insect traffic. With reduced nitrogen to make chlorophyll, green shades fade, making reds pop like neon signs against the dark night. It's a smart survival strategy, creating a feedback loop where nutrient deprivation could actually help catch more creepy crawlies. Talk about a win-win situation. But hold your watering cans, there's a catch. Carnivorous plants are environmental divas when it comes to their water preferences. They thrive in pure conditions, with rainwater or snow melt, while the minerals from tap water act like a slow poison. Suddenly, those seemingly harmless water droplets become the grim reaper for these prized plants. Show signs of stress? browning leaf tips, thwarted trap mechanisms, and finally, a heart-wrenching wilt. It's not pretty when regular water suffocates them. To keep these plants happy, meticulous care is essential. Many plant parents opt for distilled, reverse osmosis, or rainwater to keep mineral buildups at bay. Good drainage practices are vital, and some even embrace the tray method for the ultimate water wicking experience. It's a systematic ritual to mimic the constant cleansing they'd get in the wild. This glaring spotlight on their water needs reminds us that carnivorous plants have made an exclusive trade-off, excelling in victim catching over nutrient extraction, showcasing the beauty of evolutionary specialization. Carnivorous plants have some quirky tricks up their sleeves, especially when it comes to their roots. Unlike your average green buddy with its sprawling, intricate root system designed for collecting nutrients, these plants keep it simple and straightforward. Their roots primarily serve two roles: guzzling water and anchoring them down. This laid-back approach means they lack the fancy transporters that can regulate mineral absorption, leaving them open to the sinister side effects of mineral toxicity that can throw them into a tailspin. When minerals start piling up in the soil, things get dicey. The concentration of those stubborn dissolved substances outside the roots creates a nasty osmotic imbalance. It's like trying to drink from a water fountain that's empty. The plant struggles to slurp up the hydration it desperately needs. Meanwhile, some minerals can sneak in via passive entry, building up to toxic levels. Imagine calcium crashing the party and interfering with cellular functions. It's a recipe for disaster. The result? A stressed-out plant that's both thirsty and poisoned, double the trouble, indeed. As if that wasn't enough, let's talk temperature. Carnivorous plants are like the globetrotters of the plant kingdom, hailing from various climates that dictate their temperature needs. The tropical pitcher plants from Southeast Asia bask in warm, humid bliss year-round, utterly opposed to frost. Meanwhile, temperate species such as Venus flytraps crave a good chill. Believe it or not, these plants need a cold winter dormancy to thrive. If they don't get their frosty fix, they might just wither away into oblivion. But why would a plant need to be cold to stay healthy? You might ask. It's a head-scratcher for sure, but that frosty spell sparks vital physiological processes within the plant. Like a hibernating bear, it gets the rest it needs to conserve energy and reset its growth cycles. Imagine for a moment a plant slumping in the heat, churning out smaller and fewer traps until it eventually bows out. To keep this from happening, you simply need to play it smart, maybe pop that potted plant in an unheated garage or a cozy outdoor nook. Out of sight, out of mind, until spring rolls around. And then, voila! Just when you think you've got a dormant plant on your hands, fresh growth will burst forth from the center like a surprise party. With vibrant traps unfurling, it's a joyous renewal that connects your cultivated green friend to its wild roots quite literally. This dance of dormancy and growth is a rhythmic tradition, shaped by countless millennia of adapting to seasonal ebb and flow. As winter temperatures drop and the days get a little shorter, the plant's internal gears start shifting. Within the depths of its roots, carbohydrate reserves shuffle home for safe storage, and growth points get a protective makeover. Specialized scales or thick tissues prep the plant for a cozy winter nap. These physiological changes are sparked by environmental cues like temperature shifts and changing daylight. It's like nature's own alert system, ensuring that when winter's around the corner, the plant is ready to hunker down. On another note, have you ever thought about how these fascinating plants reproduce? They've got options. Think of carnivorous plants as the ultimate multitaskers. They can spread their genes through good old-fashioned seeds in a classic sexual reproduction setup or opt for some clever asexual techniques. Whether they're throwing a seed party with a chance meeting or just cloning themselves, these botanical wonders always find a way to keep their legacy alive. What a charmingly flexible bunch. Seeds are nature's little genetic lottery tickets, each plant a quirky offshoot of its parents. However, waiting for them to sprout can feel like watching paint dry, especially for carnivorous plants, which often have their own strict requirements to spring into action. Some need a cozy winter nap, aka cold stratification, while others want a spotlight, and some even ask for smoke or specific soil pals to wake them up. Talk about high maintenance. On the flip side, vegetative propagation knows how to keep things breezy. Many carnivorous plants are savvy enough to make offshoots or divisions that are ready to roll. For instance, Venus flytraps aren't shy about growing in clusters over time, each rosette ready to venture off and conquer the plant kingdom. Meanwhile, sundews are the overachievers of the plant world. They can sprout new plantlets just from a wee leaf laid on moist soil. It's like a botanical sleepover. Then, there's the underground magic of pitcher plants, which produce runners or rhizomes that spread stealthily beneath the surface, each segment birthing a new plant. But wait, there's more. Tissue culture is the rock star of the propagation world, letting growers turn tiny bits of plant tissue into huge quantities of genetically identical clones. This lab prowess not only fills plant shops but also helps preserve rare species without stripping them from their natural homes. Bet your succulent can't do that. For all you plant parents out there, propagation can feel like a personal connection to nature. Digging into the dirt and witnessing a leaf cutting sprout roots or watching a cluster of Venus flytraps morph into a mini jungle is exhilarating. It's a relationship where both the grower and plant bond over growth. This lively partnership turns passive plant watching into a fulfilling endeavor of nurturing life. Not every propagation method is created equal, though. Venus flytraps embrace leaf cuttings like old friends, boasting success rates of over 50% when conditions are prime. Sundews are even lazier, producing plantlets from nearly every leaf. However, pitcher plants are the divas. While dividing them works, leaf cuttings are fickle, often leading enthusiasts down the tissue culture route for success. Now, let's talk seeds. While they do bring genetic diversity to the party, their special requirements can be a real puzzle. Cold stratification emulates winter's chill, breaking that stubborn dormancy. Some seeds need smoke before they turn into sprouting champions, an evolution that fits perfectly in fire-prone habitats where post-fire germination gives them a competitive edge. It's a wild, plant-driven world out there. Carnivorous plants are also no strangers to traditional medicine. Legends reveal that various cultures have called upon the likes of pitcher plants and sundews to remedy ills. North American tribes brewed pitcher plant roots for smallpox and TB. Sundews made it into cough remedies across Europe, though the actual success of these treatments might be a bit fuzzy. Today, there's buzz over compounds found in these plants that show promise, but whether traditional remedies pack enough of a punch remains undecided. Finally, there's that captivating allure of carnivorous plants. Their predatory nature blurs the lines between the animal and plant kingdoms. Their ability to feast on insects invokes a mystical quality, making them seem like powerful healers in the eyes of traditional medicine practitioners. After all, a plant that dines on critters is bound to hold some fascinating secrets. Nature sure knows how to keep us guessing. Carnivorous plants, with their quirky appearances and peculiar habits, have always drawn us in. Once formidable allies in our quest for remedies, these botanical wonders remind us of humanity's long-standing affinity for harnessing nature. Yet, today, these peculiar plants take a backseat in medical circles, exactly where they belong, thanks to the conservationists keeping an eye on their dwindling numbers. They're no longer just oddities in the backyard, they're symbols of our relationship with the wild. Take sundews, for instance. These enchanting plants have piqued modern scientific curiosity for their antibacterial qualities. Researchers are particularly enamored with a compound called plumbogan found in them. It's a superhero in its own right, capable of battling stubborn bacteria, including those antibiotic-resistant foes. Unfortunately, sundews aren't living in a medicinal goldmine. Their low plumbogan levels combined with the challenges of sustainable harvesting mean we won't see sundews pop up in drugstores anytime soon. And let's not forget about pitcher plants. These botanical marvels churn out enzymes that hold promise for industries like waste treatment and food processing. With a digestive system expertly designed to thrive in acidic and chilly conditions, they could potentially outperform conventional enzymes. It's a new frontier for science, and while we're still in the early stages of research, the possibilities are certainly mouth-watering. However, don't let that wild optimism distract from the reality lurking in the shadows: climate change. As temperatures rise and weather patterns go bonkers, carnivorous plants find themselves in a regulatory pickle. These flora thrive in precise conditions, and a shift in temperature or rainfall can turn their cozy habitats into inhospitable wastelands. Imagine a plant that needs its beauty sleep in winter suddenly missing out because it's too warm. That's one unhappy carnivorous plant right there. Then there are coastal areas battling the relentless advance of rising seas. Picture this: low-lying wetlands, home sweet home to countless carnivorous plants, submerging into salty oblivion as oceans creep inland. Some plants have already succumbed to salty invasion, while others cling to life in increasingly precarious environments, fighting against the salty tide. But alas, they're not the only ones impacted. Fire is wreaking havoc too. Fires may seem catastrophic, yet for some carnivorous plant ecosystems, they are vital. These fire-adapted habitats rely on regular low-intensity fires to thrive. Sadly, decades of fire suppression meant to protect human property has let invasive species run rampant, overshadowing our carnivorous wonders. At the other end of the spectrum, climate-induced fires ramp up the intensity, obliterating the delicate soil and the plants that rely on it. As if that isn't enough, carnivorous plants can't just pack their bags and move elsewhere. They thrive in specific conditions, from soil to water quality, making migration a daunting task. Fragmentation caused by human development adds more barriers, isolating these plants in tiny pockets of suitable habitats while the surrounding world encroaches. This double whammy from climate change and habitat isolation is particularly concerning. These plants deserve better. In conclusion, some species have only a few homes left on Earth, making them highly susceptible to extinction if their habitats become uninhabitable due to climate change. Conservationists are stepping up, promoting active translocation efforts to move these rare beauties to more hospitable locations. As we continue to unravel the surprises of carnivorous plants, one thing is clear: the quirkiest relationships in nature need our protection, and a bit of early intervention wouldn't hurt. Carnivorous plants never cease to amaze and baffle researchers even after decades of study. Recently, scientists uncovered that some pitcher plants have a keen rainy day strategy. When the skies open up, the raindrops crash against the pitcher rims like a tiny, chaotic orchestra, sending unwitting insects tumbling in the process. Who knew that a light drizzle could turn a pitcher plant into a predatory party trick? It's nature's own slippery slope of doom for unsuspecting bugs. Meanwhile, research on the captivating sundews has shown they possess impressive discerning taste. Yes, you read that right. These remarkable plants can differentiate between nutritious flying snacks and the undesired non-nutritious debris cluttering their traps. Talk about picky eaters. They respond more emphatically when the bounty consists of nitrogen-laden delicacies, clearly indicating that not all prey is created equal in the world of carnivorous plants. Moreover, thanks to genetic sequencing, the evolutionary past of these fantastic flora has been unraveled in astonishing detail. Researchers have identified the genes responsible for their predatory lifestyle and discovered similar adaptations occurred independently in various lineages. This genetic gossip doesn't just shed light on the plants themselves. It also enhances our understanding of how complex traits develop and the way genomes react under pressure. The botanical drama from our evolutionary history. Diving deeper into pitcher plant habitats, scientists have also found that these plants don't operate solo. Oh no! They've got a vibrant community of bacteria that thrive within their pitchers. These microscopic partners not only help digest prey, but also enhance the plant's ability to lure in their meals. As if teamwork weren't critical enough, these charming microbes exhibit diverse communities across species and locales, paving the way for a deeper understanding of how all sorts of life engage in cooperation. Every expedition still brings surprises, with hidden species popping up in the most unlikely corners of Southeast Asia, South America, and Australia. Researchers continue to uncover new carnivorous plant variations that keep the excitement alive in the scientific community. The thrill of the hunt, both for bugs and botanists, is unyielding. Each discovery adds thrilling chapters to the ongoing saga of nature's wonderfully weird carnivore tale. Meanwhile, another captivating mystery begins under the invisible cloak of ultraviolet light. Some pitcher plants flaunt designs undetectable by human eyes but irresistible to insects. It turns out, these crafty plants cleverly utilize UV patterns to lure bugs that are scouting the landscape for nectar-rich blooms. It's nature's dazzling light show, guiding insects straight to the dinner table. What a cunning culinary marketing strategy. And let's not forget the fascinating chemistry brewing in pitcher plant fluids. It's become clear that their concoction is a complex blend that includes more than just digestive enzymes. Think behavior-altering compounds and clever agents that break through pesky insect defenses. What's even juicier is that some of these components come from their bacterial buddies, emphasizing the importance of symbiotic relationships in a world often perceived as a ruthless competition. At the heart of these fabulous carnivorous plants lies an enchanting paradox. They are lovely, yet lethal, rooted, yet ravenous. So-called gentle giants of the plant world, they encapsulate patience as they wait for weeks for one hapless insect to wander into their trap. With their stunning beauty and lethal prowess entwined in an exquisite dance, they provoke thought about life's complexities, showcasing that the boundaries of existence blur in the most unexpected ways. Nature has a knack for crafting some truly bizarre sculptures, and carnivorous plants are among the most captivating. They're like the mysterious alien cousins of the plant world, beautiful yet terrifying, familiar yet utterly strange. These incredible organisms thrive on their ability to solve life's problems with flair. It's as if these plants ask, why settle for soil? While sneaking a snack in the most unconventional ways. They fascinate us, revealing life's raw creativity and endless capacity to surprise. Growing and observing carnivorous plants has become quite the trend among plant enthusiasts. It's a mixed blessing, though. On one hand, it promotes conservation and takes pressure off wild populations, offering a legal option for collectors. But on the flip side, their popularity can lead to a rise in illegal collecting, putting wild plants in jeopardy. It's a tricky balance. Appreciation can sometimes build walls instead of bridges. Who knew these lovely yet ruthless plants could raise such philosophical questions? The beauty of carnivorous plants lies in the contradictions they embody. Are they more plant-like, or do they lean towards the animal kingdom? This debate is a fun diversion, but perhaps we're just trying to fit them into boxes they never intended to occupy. They are unique beings, designed by nature to adapt and thrive within their turbulent environments. Categorizing them might be more about us than them after all. Why not let them exist happily on their own terms? As we meander through the world of these fascinating plants, we can't help but marvel at nature's ingenuity. While most plants would struggle in scarcity, carnivorous plants have turned their hunger into an opportunity. They didn't just stick to traditional nutrition routes. Instead, they cast their nets into the air, catching whatever they could find. The traps, lures, and enzymes they evolved are like intricate puzzle pieces, creating a picture of nature's resourcefulness. Evolution isn't haphazard. It's a finely tuned design process. Each carnivorous plant tells a remarkable story of adaptability, showcasing how millions of tiny changes lead to something exceptional. Their existence enriches the diversity of plant life, functioning as crucial players in ecosystems. These unique flora offer habitats, shift nutrient cycles, and spark scientific curiosity in ways that other plants cannot. Picture a world stripped of these peculiar beings, impoverished not just ecologically, but aesthetically. So, as you relax, let your imagination drift to the enchanting wetlands, brimming with sundews glimmering in the sunlight and pitcher plants standing guard like watchful sentinels. Visualize the drama of a fly trapped on a sundew leaf, its fate sealed by the plant's slow embrace. Nearby, a Venus flytrap waits in silence, counting touches as it prepares for action, while the world around it continues its delicate ballet. Let these images comfort you, the pitcher plants patiently awaiting rain, their beauty nestled between violence and grace. Imagine the tiny bladderworts, hidden beneath the surface, firing off traps in a synchronized dance. Each of these organisms plays a crucial part in life's ongoing narrative of survival. It unfolds whether we witness it or not, reminding us that life, with all its complexities, continues its rhythm in the undercurrents of nature. In the wild, hidden corners of the world, carnivorous plants thrive, showcasing their quirky charms as they grow, trap, digest, and reproduce season after season. These botanical marvels defy the ordinary, standing as ancient yet contemporary wonders that blend beauty with danger. Imagine yourself miniaturized, wandering among these fascinating hunters, where the towering leaves overshadow you like ancient trees and pitcher plants loom like colossal wells, their openings gaping like cavernous mouths. As you stroll closer, the sundew's tentacles emerge like magical, crystalline forests. Each droplet resting on them is so large you could almost fit your head inside. This transformed perspective unveils a fantastical world where the lines between plant and predator blur, creating an enchanting landscape ripe for exploration. Here, you're assured safety, free to marvel at the sophisticated mechanisms of capture and digestion, where chemistry and physics intertwine in nature's whimsical dance. Soon, your adventure begins to wind down as the embrace of sleep calls. Let the vibrant images of lush green fade gently from your thoughts. As you drift, the sundew's tentacles morph into twinkling stars scattered across the midnight sky, while pitcher plants become wells of shadow, hiding their mysteries beneath the surface. The Venus flytrap transforms, its jaws snapping rhythmically like the gentle rise and fall of breaths, inviting calm and serenity. In this in-between space, as sleep seems to wrap around you like a warm blanket, the carnivorous plants stand sentinel, patient and still. They embody a timelessness that teaches you the art of waiting, unhurried and unwavering, allowing you to relish the unspooling moments of existence. Feel this tranquility, embracing your own stillness, just like these marvelous plants anchored in their quietude, effortlessly existing in their lush realms. As your body sinks deeper into comfort, your mind floats away, inching closer to peace. With each deep breath, you're adopting the essence of a carnivorous plant rooted yet relaxed, reveling in the effortless act of being. In this serene state, no effort or action is required of you. Tranquility envelops you, inviting you to let go and drift into a restful slumber. Tomorrow, when morning light breaks, the world awaits filled with wonders both grand and intimate. You'll encounter plants that trap and those that flourish, mysteries unraveled and those yet to unearth. But for now, surrender to sleep. Bask in the blessing of the carnivorous plants, who, in their patient way, ask for nothing more than your dream-filled repose as they continue their timeless work unseen. So, close your eyes if you haven't already, and let yourself slide into comfort and darkness. The tale of your journey is done, replaced now by the soft lull of sleep pulling you into its nurturing embrace. Gently, gently, drift away. Good night, sleep well, and may your dreams resonate with the soothing patience of a sundew awaiting dawn or the tranquil stillness of a bog at twilight, where these surreal guardians quietly watch over time's slow passage.